Hello, hi, what's up? It's me, Karen, your favorite booktuber, and today I'm here to talk about some short books because we're in, for some people, a busy time of the year, holiday parties, whatever else other obligations that you have, Christmas, Black Friday shopping, I don't know. Things are busy, and I thought that I would put together a list of a few books that are almost palate cleansers, but also very short, in that you could sit down and maybe finish them in an hour or two. You can escape from the chaos of your family and just seclude yourself and read a good book. So that's what I'm here to do today. I'm here to talk about 8 books that are short, mercifully short, that hopefully you can get to during this time. Okay, the first one is Patriotism by Mishima. This is, I don't know, are you guys able to see that? Anyways, this is the story. It's really short. Honestly deserves a reread. I kind of think about this fairly often, but this is a story of an army officer who comes home and is like, wifey, things are precarious. And they have to make a decision, and it's rendered in a way that I can't really spoil it because this one is so short. It's really sexy, and that's what I have to say about this book. The next one is The Walk by Robert Walser, and you guys need to know that this author loved to walk. He walked so much every day in the Swiss Alps or whatever, literally miles upon miles. I think he might have died by walking also, but I might have made that up, so don't quote me, as you know. He died while out on a Christmas Day stroll, so be careful when you're out walking. You don't know what's gonna happen. Anyways, this is a story of an author or of a writer type of character who's walking about and meeting all these people, and it's just these subtle ruminations on the people he meets and just life, and it's very fun. It's a chill vibe. The next book is Reunion. I don't like this cover at all. I saw this in a used bookstore over the weekend or I don't know, who knows, time is moving quickly, but let's say 2 weeks ago, and I preferred that cover over this one. Anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. But this book, I'm gonna put it down because I don't like the cover. It's actually quite offensive. Sorry. Sorry to this kid, but Reunion is a story of 2 friends who are quite young, right before World War II happens, and they are of different religions, kind of different socioeconomic classes as well, and they have a friendship, but there's something that the narrator's never able to really go to his friend's house because the friend knows his parents are a bit whack, and it's just this. I think it's a really good book that I actually think about I think I read this 2 years ago. I still think about it because there's a way in which this is written that operates outside of your expectations, and it's not twee or embarrassing or anything like that. It's looking at how children can be so different from their parents, and contemplating a sort of moral ethics and or being true to yourself, or being able to stand up against your parents. So that's this book. The next one, very different in tone, would be The Breast by Philip Roth. I was about to say Philip Pullman. Anyway, so this is a story of a man who wakes up one day, and instead of becoming a beetle or whatever, he actually becomes a breast. And it's silly and absurd and quite moves very fast, but basically ends up in a hospital, and he's freaking out the whole time. So that's this book. The next one is The Murderess, and this is a Greek, more of a novella. I mean, all of these are novellas, let's be real, but this is a Greek story written by a Greek author about a grandmother who is really tired of being a woman, and she starts to take action against young girls because she's the worst thing you can be in life is a girl. And this is looking at her escapades as she's sort of having these moments of madness, but then also justifying them, and then she ends up escaping, and she's running across her village trying to escape. And there's something that's interesting in this, and that the author himself was a very religious man, but religion is present in this book, but it is not salvation, which I think is a very interesting decision on the part of the author. Okay, the next book I'm going to talk about is My Death by Lisa Tuttle. Now, I think a lot of booktubers have read this now, so you've probably heard a lot of people mention this. It's quite, it's really good. It's very short, and it's a story of this, it's very meta, and I think it's really great to read in December. I'm pretty sure I probably read it in December, but it's this woman who's an author who's kind of struggling with her next book. Oh my God, there's something in my eye. Where was I? It's just, I'm also a little congested. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's like a little hard for me to talk. This is a story of a woman who's an author, struggling, blah, 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 writer's block, and all of a sudden she has this like moment of like a realization or an epiphany that she's going to write about a former like muse whose work she really loved and like get all nitty gritty. And the reason is that she realizes that this woman, this older woman, still lives. So she goes to meet her. And when meeting her, things start to get trippy. And it's a really like cool book. So that's that one. Next up, I want to talk about a book that I read last month, I believe, and I loved it. The Stepdaughter by Caroline Blackwood. Caroline Blackwood was the second wife of Lucian Freud and kind of like a really good writer. Well, who would have thought? But I have read this, Great Granny Webster, and I'm really impressed by her like cutting prose. She's very like almost like sardonic and just sarcastic, and I really like that. There's like this wit running through everything. But in this particular book, this is the story of a woman who's been whose husband has left her. He's gone off to Paris with his younger, hotter, new wifey, and she's stuck in New York City in this beautiful apartment with her newborn and also the stepdaughter. And the stepdaughter is so just unappealing to the stepmother, like so just gets on her nerves, and everything that she does is offensive, and she's an oddball character for sure. But the woman is so just mired in her suffering that she doesn't leave the apartment. She's not talking to any of her friends, but how she spends her time is she spends her time writing letters in her head to an imaginary person, and each one will start like, dear so-and-so, like, today, Renata, the stepdaughter, was so fucking annoying, blah, 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 blah. And while she's doing this, she's having these, like, realizations as the things start to escalate, and we reach to this crescendo because she cannot stay in this apartment forever. And while this is also happening, the narrator is, like, having this, like, this real, searching moral inventory is occurring because she's, like, really looking at her life and being, like, what's going on? But it's done subtly, and I really love that. And honestly, I just need to reread this and felt as if I really identified with the protagonist. Okay, and then the final book I want to talk about is something that I recently read, so spoiler, this is going to come up in my December wrap-up, or November wrap-up rather. Role Play, which is a Brazilian novel, very slim also, as everything was, looking at this woman from the Brazilian aristocracy who's quite wealthy and knows she's wealthy, but also is not as wealthy as other wealthy people, in that her wealth is a little, her family's like on the down and out, and so they have to be a little not like they're just, you know, maneuvering through all of this, trying to maintain their wealth, but also like she never really needs to worry. And she's able to like take jobs by the merit of like how good they're gonna look at her resume. Like she doesn't have to worry about money, but still they do worry about money a little bit. Anyways, so this book kicks off with a moment of violence where the narrator sees another woman from a different economic class experience violence, and this starts her off on like this moment of contemplation where she's thinking about different characters in her life and what does it mean to have this much wealth, and kind of the traumas that she's experienced in life, and then also her familial lineage. And then it's also looking at like relationships and her like, sexual life. And then we get to the end, and it's like, I can't ruin it for you guys, but you almost have this like reckoning towards the end where you're like, oh, were all of her thoughts, like, was she being for real? Was she genuine in her worry and in her contemplation, or was she just being a narcissist and like just self-serving and like thinking that she would change things but really wouldn't, blah blah blah. Anyways, I think that the strongest part of this are like the last 20-30 pages, but that's the end of this video because those are all the books that I brought in my pile. I would love to know if you have any short books that you recommend that you've read this year that you think would be something I should check out or something someone else should check out. Let me know in the comments. This is the pile of books. They kind of look fun together. Well, maybe we should put the white ones on top or something, or like mix one in. So, yeah, this is the pile of books. This is everything. This might be some people's thumbnails, but not mine. I'm not gonna do that to you guys. Anyways, talk later. Thanks for watching. Bye.